You're watching KTUU, Channel 2, Anchorage.
It used to be covered by bricks. These grandstands are usually crowded by great race fans. Things change, but this is still the same. This is as important a title as there is in motorsports. Someone will win the Indianapolis 500 over the next couple of hours, and you're in no better hands to document it all than the voice of our IndyCar series on NBC. Here's Lee Diffie. Diff.
Mike, thanks so much. What a lead-in, what a build-up to this 104th running, and what a treat we have for you folks. Look to the bottom of your screens there. You see the Honda two-seater. It's affectionately known as the fastest seat in sport, and it typically and traditionally leads the field ahead of the pace car to the green. Well, this is an historic treat. If you haven't heard about it, inside that Honda two-seater is legend Mario Andretti. There he is. That's not unusual. This is Mario's passion. Even in his early 80s, he still loves driving this, and he does it for many. He's done it for thousands over the years. But in the back of it is his 1991 IndyCar championship-winning son, Michael, who has had success here, not as a driver, but as a team owner. Michael's won this race 5 times as an owner, and it keeps on going through the generations of the Andretti family, because then one step further back behind Mark Royce in the pace car is Marco. So 3 Andrettis on the track at the one time. That's not unusual here as far as the Andretti history is concerned, but for Mario, Michael and Marco, it most certainly is. And 60 Indy 500 starts across the 3 generations. Fantastic. I mentioned Mark Royce, the president of General Motors. Mark is behind the wheel. There he is right there, of the brand new Corvette Stingray, to lead this field to green. And for more information on this beautiful car, you can go to Chevy.com. You got the president right behind the wheel. An exciting time for him as well, especially to be wedged in between the generations of Andretti family members and drivers. Time now to take a look at the Firestone starting grid for this year's Indy 500, and it certainly is interesting. We know about the historic pole for Marco. It was so tight, the difference between himself and Scott Dixon. And Takuma Sato, the 2017 winner of this race, Townsend starts on the front row for the very first time.
Always exciting with Sato. Look for him to try to shoot wide around Scott Dixon, but Scott Dixon in that orange and blue car will be a force today. He's put himself in all kinds of uncomfortable positions in practice. That'll be really important, because I think you're going to be uncomfortable all day in traffic. Looking down to row 3 there, Alexander Rossi starting outside. That's a huge benefit here at Indy, because going wide and going high early is your best chance to make some moves.
Paul, as we walk our way through the field and the Firestone starting grid, who catches your eye? Get back to PT in just a moment. Felix Rosenquist is right there. Jack Harvey, Santino Ferrucci on the 7th row, last year's Rookie of the Year here at the 500.
Did a great job. So much muscle there in row 8 and 9. Tony Kanaan, his 19th Indy 500 start. He knows how to lead. He also knows how to go big on the start. Last year's winner, can you believe it? Simon Pagenaud, row 9. Terrible qualifying result.
And Helio Castroneves, in his 20th Indy 500 start, is on the 10th row in a very unfamiliar position. However, he's feeling good. He said, I can come through the field. I've done it before here at the Brickyard, to perhaps score that historic 4th victory. We're pleased to say that we've got 14 onboard cameras for you, and we're going to use them a lot today. This is Joseph Newgarden, the 2-time and defending series champion. With thanks to Shell V-Power, we'll have this view of the number 1 car. How about one of 5 rookies? Not a rookie to the series, but a rookie to Indianapolis. He failed to qualify last year. That's Pato O'Ward. With thanks to Arrow Electronics, we'll have this view. And his young teammate and fellow rookie, Mission Foods, brings us this view of Oliver Askew in the number 7 Arrow McLaren SP car. The veteran, the 5-time champion, and one of the overwhelming favorites, Scott Dixon, with thanks to Honda. Muddy?
Hey, Lee, when I sat down with Scott Dixon yesterday, he said, this is a different pace in 2020 for us for the Indy 500. He said, honestly, coming into the race the last few years, I knew we didn't have a car that was fast enough or the drivability to win the race. Today, I have all of that. Scott Dixon might have the best car he's ever had for an Indy 500, Lee.
And how about his teammate Felix Rosenquist, second-year starter here at the 500 with thanks to NTT data. He'll give us some good views today, and so too will Graham Rahal in the United Rentals. Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan, Honda with thanks to United Rentals right there. Santino Ferrucci, courtesy of Honda in the Dale Coyne with Vassar Sullivan entry, and then the Menards, the very recognizable Menards Chevrolet of Simon Pagenaud. Kelly? Kevin?
And Lee, Simon Pagenaud starts 25th. In the last 83 years, there's only been one driver starting this far back that's won the 500. But Simon told me if the balance is there, and it is, I can win the 500 for a second straight year.
We look forward to that with thanks to Gamebridge. Zach Veach will give us this view. We're getting close to the start of the race. Auto Nation brings us Alexander Rossi's onboard camera, and we are excited about that. US Air Force and Conor Daly, what can he do today? Jack Harvey with thanks to Auto Nation, Sirius XM, Fernando Alonso, and many others. Well, there's never been one like this before, never in August, never with no fans, but it is and always will be the greatest spectacle in racing. This is the Indianapolis 500.
Get ready.
And there is a 33-year-old Andretti leading the field of 33, but Marco is challenged by Dixon early. That orange and blue car going around the outside. Dixon for the lead and gets it.
Clear, clear.
Bold move from Scott Dixon around the outside. Setting the tone for today. Paul, what's it like over there?
Jostling for position. Alex Palou trying there. Takuma Sato now makes a move on Marco Andretti for second, and Ryan Hunter-Reay in that yellow and red DHL Honda. He's on the move as well.
Lee, Scott Dixon is checking out right now. Amazing acceleration from that PNC car on the start. It looked like Marco had a good jump. Further back now, there's Hunter-Reay in the yellow and red DHL car. He's going to the inside of his teammate. Marco says, not yet, buddy, and not now.
And Rinus VK is there, the 19-year-old Dutch driver in that 21, that white and black Sonax Chevrolet. He is not daunted by this rookie experience.
James Hinchcliffe drafting up on the rookie VK. James in that orange and white Genesis car, looking to the inside, tucks back in. He'll look for a draft coming out of turn 4, back onto the front straight.
And there's Alexander Rossi, the blue and yellow Napa Auto Parts Honda. He's staying in the mix. So too is Spencer Piggott in the high V Honda. And Marcus Ericsson is there as they start to find a rhythm now. And look at this, Sato has caught up to Dixon. Inside is James Hinchcliffe on the rookie. Couldn't quite do it.
Oh!
Ed Carpenter, US Space Force car. Kelly?
And trouble for the local guy at Carpenter early. He's really upset with Zach Veach. He says Veach put him into the wall early, and it sounds like they might have to make a front wing change as they assess the damage, but trouble early for Ed Carpenter.
Take a look at the replay.
He had to have known I was there.
It's the view from Jack Harvey's car. Whoa.
So you could hear Ed Carpenter say he had to have known I was there. Perhaps information from the spotter for Veach, but tough to say. It's so hard to try to stick your nose into that short chute on the start. The action, furious right here out of the beginning. You can tell, Lee, the urgency, the anxiety to try to make something happen on the start, because it's very difficult after a few laps with the turbulent air as soon as the tires start to wear.
Look out, here comes Captain America, Ryan Hunter-Reay in that red and yellow DHL Honda for Andretti Autosport. This is as good as we have seen him here at the Speedway in a while, and he is all over Takuma Sato.
Huge run off of turn 4 for Hunter-Reay. He had great balance through turn 4. Should be an easy pass down the front straightaway. He tucks into second. Now Hunter-Reay has Dixon in his sights.
Who said it was going to be tough to pass this year? Beautiful move from RHR. Dixon, Hunter-Reay, Sato, Andretti, the rookie VK, Hinchcliffe, Rossi, Spencer Piggott, Marcus Ericsson, and Graham Rahal.
Marco Andretti has fell back a little bit, just settling in now to 4th place as Dixon now leading. Hunter-Reay stalking. Sato looking good
was talking with Hunter Ray and Alexander Rossi just before the start this morning, and they both said that you really have to embrace being uncomfortable today. It's important to have your car set up loose as VK moves to the inside there. Hinchcliffe all over the back. Looks like we've got a problem.
James Davison.
Right front.
Yeah, he's hit the wall. It looks like and the brake is on fire.
Oh my gosh, the
whole wheel is broken apart. So I've never seen anything like that before.
Right front wheel's going to come off in a second. Want you to get it low, get it off the track. Yep.
James Davison in the Dale Coyne entry with Rick Ware Racing, Bird and Bellardi entry.
Wow.
That is wild. I've never, ever seen. I don't know why he just doesn't stop.
Well, if you can get to pit lane and they can figure out how to get that wheel off, Paul, I'm sure, now the whole car's going to light up.
That's a big fire. He needs to get out of that car really quickly right now.
This is Australia's James Davison in his 6th Indianapolis 500. And it is over pretty much as quick as it started. What a shame.
Magnesium wheels. You can see the...
Doesn't look like Townsend he brushed the wall because there's no mark on the outside, and that wheel looks as though it just broke apart in the center. They're magnesium, and you've got to crack check these wheels. They do that frequently after every race, and maybe that wheel just came apart, and then that magnesium will catch fire.
Paul, I wonder if it started with rotor temperature. You can see the brake rotor.
Yeah, it's like it's locked on. But you would think if the brakes were locked on, it would just skid the tire. But I have never seen anything like that before.
Something stuck in there generated so much rotor temperature. And then it exploded right there, the wheel. So something horribly wrong with the rotor and drag with the caliper, and Davison must be in complete shock, like what in the world just happened?
He has been on a wild ride lately, mixing IndyCar with NASCAR Cup Series. He qualified here last weekend, jumped on a jet, went down to Daytona International Speedway, competed in the NASCAR Cup Series road course race there, then flew back to Indy. It has been it's been an interesting year, but nothing quite like that. Crazy scenes. And the first yellow. Great to see the AMR safety team there on the spot, very quick to aid James Davison.
There's a reason drivers have trusted Firestone tires since the very first Indy 500. Drivers like Haroon, Shaw, Voigt, Andretti, Rossi. Because while finishing is hard enough, it's winning that makes you a champion. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
I will fight for you. I always do until my heart is black and blue.
I am cancer free.
Even when I'm down to my last breath, even when they say there's nothing left, so don't give up on me. I'm not giving up.
There would be no need for any further treatment.
I'm not going down that easily, so don't give up on me.
Verizon knows how to build unlimited right. Start with America's most awarded network. Offer the best in entertainment like Apple Music on Us, and give families plans to mix and match, all starting at just $35. The network more people rely on gives you more.
I use ice cream as kind of for medicinal purposes, you know.
This would be so good for dinner.
Very crispy. Spicy.
Delicious.
A little tang.
Crunch.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Hot to everything.
I like Liberty Mutual. They get that no two people are alike. And customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. What do you think?
I don't see it. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Find your keys. Find your get up and go. Find pants that aren't sweats. Find your friends. Find your sense of wonder. Find the world is new again. At Chevy, we'd like to take you there. Now, during the Chevy Open Road Sales Event, get up to 15% of MSRP cash back on select 2020 models. That's over $5,700 cash back on this Equinox. It's time to find new roads again.
You saw this group of cars pitting in non-stop, and Simon Pagenaud, the defending Indianapolis 500 winner, is at the head of this pack. Not everyone came, but a small select group, most notably those at the back third of the pack, as we check out Pagenaud's Menards onboard Townsend. So those who knew they were in a difficult position anyway decided to roll the dice. Let's go.
You could do it now on 5 more stops, so that puts you in the window to make it to the end. And stopping early puts you in the strategy and go to the end. There you see the fuel windows. We'll be back.
People would rather visit me than shop for a car. And I'm a dentist.
Car Gurus, and the less painful way.
I used to find car shopping painful too. But then I found Car Gurus. It was so easy for me to be very specific about what I wanted. And then Car Gurus showed me how good of a deal I could get. Or not. Once I saw the dealer had a 5-star rating, I was on my way. This is my car. And that's my deal.
Go to Car Gurus today to find great deals from top-rated dealers near you.
Humira patients, this one's for you. You inspired us to make your Humira experience even better with Humira Citrate Free. It has the same effectiveness you know and trust, but we remove the citrate buffers. There's less liquid and a thinner needle with less pain immediately following injection. Ask your doctor about Humira Citrate Free, and you can use your copay card to pay as little as $5 a month.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections. Serious and sometimes fatal infections, including tuberculosis and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Ask your doctor about Humira Citrate Free, the same Humira you trust with less pain immediately following injection.
If you can't afford your medicine, AbbVie may be able to help.
The die-hard batteries you know and trust are now at Advance. Unrivaled performance meets unrivaled expertise. Die-hard batteries, now at Advance Auto Parts.
Daytona, Saturday on NBC.
You're watching NBC's coverage of the Indy 500. Brought to you by Firestone. Drive the tire that drives Indy car legends. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Guaranteed rate. Mortgage rates are historically low. Visit rate.com today. And by Die Hard Batteries. Now available at Advance Auto Parts.
And you see the number 20 car of Ed Carpenter still on pit road from that early incident with Zach Veach. The damage to this U.S. Space Force car a little bit more significant than they initially estimated. They changed that front wing, but there is suspension damage they've also had to work on. So just a disappointing start for Ed in his 17th Indianapolis 500 start. And by the way, that incident was reviewed by IndyCar between Carpenter and Veach. No action is taken. Rutledge.
Kelly, there's so many fan favorites like Ed Carpenter here, and we got some from the museum. Take a quick look. This is Al Unser Sr.'s 50th anniversary car. Right next to that, Johnny Rutherford's win from 1980, 40th anniversary, and Jacques Villeneuve's 25th anniversary car. So many amazing pieces of history here at the museum, Kelly, that fans can come by, see anytime. But amazing to see the difference in these cars and what's on the track today, guys.
Cool to take a walk down memory lane there, Rupp. Thanks so much for that. Feel for Ed Carpenter. Had high hopes here. He has the general, 4-star General John Raymond, Chief of Space Operations for the U.S. Space Force here as a guest. Really wanted to perform well with the car in U.S. Space Force colors for the very first time. I tell you what, guys, Ryan Hunter-Reay was on a mission before this first caution of the race. He was catching Dixon very quickly.
Yes, but these guys at the back that have pitted, Townsend, have really changed the complexity of the race. These guys are going to have to pit about 8 to 10 laps short of these other guys, and everything can change now if another yellow comes out and it cycles that group that pitted in the back to the front. So this is going to get wilder and wilder as we go on, as these guys are getting ready to come to green.
And we won't find out for a while if that strategy plays off as Dixon rolls into that Honda Power coming off of 4.
The 2008 Indy 500 winner leads the field back to green. But let's see what Hunter Ray's got early on here. Marco Andretti is trying to get something on Takuma Sato, and James Hinchcliffe in the orange Genesis car is wheel to wheel with Rinus VeeKay through 1.
Newgarden was on the outside of a 4-car wide. Guys are 3 wide coming around 1 as they come by me here in 2. There's James Hinchcliffe way on the outside right there.
Rookie Rinus VeeKay in that 21 car, and here
Rossi.
comes Rossi.
Now 3 wide middle.
Watch
all
the
clear.
run Rossi has. Teammate Hinchcliffe.
VeeKay doesn't give up on the outside. He goes for an outside move with a clean track.
Oh boy. Oh boy, and then he tucked back in behind James Hinchcliffe.
Rossi told me this morning that VeeKay's been writing checks that he's not sure VeeKay can cash. He is bold and brave in his rookie Indy 500 as Rossi tries to chase him down. And further back, it looks like Tony Kanaan going 3 wide.
Tony Kanaan and Veach zigzagging there with Alex Palou, the rule in the purple Dale Coyne car.
Power and Pagano nearly touched wheels on the front straight, side by side. They come around the short chute. Power makes the move on the outside.
Paul, we're only 14 laps in, but the urgency, I think, is higher than I've ever seen to make moves happen now. If you're going to win today, you've got to start getting to the front from deep in the field.
James Hinchcliffe just saw he got past in turn 3, falling back a little bit. Marco Andretti right there, back up to 4th place. But the action is really frantic in the back. Hunter Ray got a nice strap, but I think right now he's content to just ride.
Just chaos on that restart, guys. And I talked to Alexander Rossi earlier this week about these restarts, and he said you kind of at Indy on restarts have to throw out the parameters of really what you should and should not be able to do. He said you have to approach the restart. You're approaching it so much slower that you can take way more risks. That's why I've made those crazy moves over the years. And Townsend, you're right. It's going to be an absolute fight to get in those first 4 spots, because once you get in that top 4, that's when you can really make moves and challenge Scott Dixon, who's led every lap so far.
Hinchcliffe making a move. Another teammate, Marco Andretti. Marco goes back to 5th place. Hinch is going forward.
I think the preferred thing for these 3 teammates, Rossi, Andretti, and Hinchcliffe, would be to work together, but they have Rossi, or they have VeeKay stuck in the middle of them, and he's not given any quarters. Rossi gets by, and Ericsson on the inside, but look at VeeKay trying to make a move back on the outside. He's resisting them. Aggressive.
He's fighting, isn't he? He's resisting those moves. He may not have a choice here as the Husky Chocolate Honda, that red Chip Ganassi car, is ready to make a move. That's Marcus Ericsson, 2nd year here at the Indy 500.
Speaking of Honda diff, Honda now in the top 6. VeeKay the first Chevrolet. The next one down in 12th with Pato O'Ward. Honda dominated qualifying, and so far flexing big muscles here in the opening laps.
Well, you see that 2nd Chevrolet there of Pato O'Ward in 12th. He's starting to make his way forward. He started 15th, so he's made up 3 since the start. That's a good move. He's chasing down Alex Palou in the Dale Coyne with Team Go car. I misidentified him before, by the way. It was Jack Harvey a little further back, dicing with Kanaan and Veach.
We've got 4 Andretti cars now placed in the top 6, and if they can displace Sato and they can start working together and forcing Dixon to sit out front, they could have the upper hand here as the race goes on, Townsend.
Paul, you had mentioned Newgarden going big on the start. Let's take a look at his onboard. Makes a move on O'Ward here. Palou to the inside, just ahead. What does he do in turn 1? Oh, very tenderly works the throttle up in the light gray. So that's the respect you have to show when you're out of the groove, running high. That number 1 Team Penske car, Kelly, is up to 14th and looking to keep moving up.
And Joseph Newgarden has felt really good about his race car. So good, in fact, that during that final practice on carb day, he told me after 30 minutes he basically wanted to pack the car up and push it back to the garage. This guy has been relaxed every time I've seen him, focused, but full of confidence in this race car. However, they really haven't been able to move forward. He qualified 13th, as you said, running 14th right now, so we'll have to see if they can make some moves later on in this run.
Little gap right now to that pack of cars just in front of him, so he needs to be able to just pull up on that group, get a little bit better fuel mileage. He's got Conor Daly kind of right in his toe behind him as well.
14th place at the moment for Joseph Newgarden in the Shell V-Power Chevrolet. He was the highest qualifying Team Penske car in a very unusual Indy 500 qualifying weekend, as Hunter Ray just shadowing race leader Scott Dixon. Dixon has led all 19 laps thus far. He, as we said earlier, was the overwhelming favorite coming into today's race in the PNC Bank Honda. So far, so good for the Kiwi.
In both racing and investing, winning demands consistency. Lap after lap after lap. Gainbridge offers intuitive annuity products within an innovative digital platform to help you protect and grow your money, empowering you to save with confidence. Gainbridge, proud sponsor of the Indianapolis 500.
Wendy's famous 4 for $4 is heating up with the new Spicy Crispy Chicken Sandwich. And yes, you can get it with spicy nugs, fries, and a drink, all for just $4. Is it getting hot in here? Or did the Queen of Spice just deliver the hottest deal in fast food?
And here we have another burst pipe in Denmark. If you look close...
Jamie, are there any interesting photos from your trip?
Ouch. Okay. Boring. Boring. You don't need to see that. Oh, here we go. Can you believe my client Stieg had never heard of a home and auto bundle or the renter's good bundle?
Wait, you're a lawyer?
Only licensed in Stockholm.
What is happening?
Anyway. Game show, Kumite, Cinderella story.
You know karate?
No, Alan. I practice Muay Thai. Completely different skill set.
Your house brought you together. Like, really together. And although together is great, together with more space is better. With Rocket Mortgage, you get personalized loan options, closing costs, and tax estimates all in real time. So when you need to know what it takes for a home to fit your budget and your family, Rocket can.
There's a challenging spirit within Honda. It gives us the courage to go faster and the thinking to make it real. Whether it looks like a truck, a sedan, or an SUV, inside is the heart of a race car.
American Pharoah is a superstar. His kids are going to be as good as him.
Most of them have a certain type of look to them. That big shoulder, big nostril.
He's definitely got that magical stride.
We got it.
This is a game of dreams.
I want the next Pharoah. I want a horse that runs like that.
There's always hope until there isn't, right?
Tonight, the Stanley Cup playoffs are on NBC. Two of the NHL's top goal-scoring teams face off in prime time. Bruins, Lightning. There's nothing like playoff hockey. That's tonight at 8 Eastern. Nothing like the 5-time champion Scott Dixon leading the way. And you know how he's chasing AJ Foyt for the most championships won in the NTT IndyCar Series? Well, he has just tied AJ Foyt for the most Indy 500s led. Means they've both led in 13 Indianapolis 500s, only headed by Tony Kanaan, who has 14. Marty?
And Lee, up front, don't be surprised if Scott Dixon lets Ryan Hunter-Reay go, because when you're out front, you use a lot more fuel. And a yellow on the track, Lee.
For no obvious reason, just yet. There's a big obvious reason. Marcus Ericsson.
That's a big crash right there. And I believe
Paul Marcus Ericsson had been working really hard to get around
front of
me.
me
Now
here.
the car lights up, Paul. What do you see?
I'm right on top of it. His car's on fire, but it's just a turbo fire. There's oil in the exhaust, but big impact here. Both, the whole side of the car, both wheels, headers are now on fire. Got an oil line loose as Marcus now is jumping out. He's literally right underneath me. And I'll head outside here real quick. Get a quick look here, but you can see he's climbing out right now.
What a shame, because Marcus Ericsson had such a positive week and a half. He's got that special tribute Ronnie Peterson helmet, one of 2 Swedish drivers in this race, and he had been quick. He'd been quick in practice. He'd been good in qualifying, Kelly. It's all over now, and it's another non-finish.
Yeah, huge disappointment. Even just moments before that wreck, Marcus Ericsson came over the radio to say that he felt really good about his race car. The balance was good, and that he was starting to find his rhythm. And then obviously misfortune struck this Swede, who will be sorely disappointed in his second Indy 500 outing.
He's had a great season going so far, Lee, and this has got to be a big disappointment as he's coming off of turn 2 here right in front of me. Oh, it gets a little bit loose right there, and just flat pancakes the wall in turn 1, and then it slid all the way over to where I was, and it stopped literally right underneath me.
That was a massive hit. Big tank slapper in the dirty air. Ericsson had been working hard to try to make some ground on VK and stay up with the leaders. It's quite shocking that he would be in that kind of situation, getting that loose that far back from another car. I think that just goes to show how difficult it is to trail another car in front with the turbulent air. And for Ericsson, glad to see him get out and walk away. That was a massive impact.
Hit. And that camera shot was Paul's handheld camera from his balcony out there in the turn 2 suites. Thanks to the Indianapolis Colts, by the way, for allowing PT to be in that suite. What did you make of that, Danica?
Turn 2 is always a tough one. As a driver, you know, the line is so fine, and it looked to me like he got offline, he got a little high, he got loose. There's a little bump right in the middle of 2, and that can catch you off guard if the car is off just a little bit. It caught me off guard.
A shame for Marcus Ericsson, who came into this race and this round of the NTT IndyCar Series in the top 10 in points. He crashed on pit lane last year on entry, and he had said he had learned so much in the past year, just being full-time. Of course, he had 5 years in Formula 1 before coming to IndyCar, and he was ready, he was primed, and he'd shown that over the course of the past week and a bit. Not to be for this man's teammate.
I believe all these guys are going to pit, and all those early pitters, Townsend, are now going to cycle to the front for their turn at the front.
You bet. And when we talk about those who pitted early, there they are, and the biggest movers, the Firestone biggest movers of the race. But you've got Oliver Askew, Will Power, Simon Pagenaud, Alonso, Castro Neves, Kimball, Chilton, Karam and Hanley were all of those early pitters. So we will see. It's going to mix things up a little bit.
Busy pit lane, and there's always a lot of nervous action on pit lane. Townsend, we've had a lot of mistakes on pit road, and this pit road is tight as anything in the business.
And Paul, that's a great point. Such a tight pit road. Everybody gonna try and mind their P's and Q's here. Takuma Sato started 3rd. He is in 3rd right now, saying the car has too much understeer. They're gonna make a wing adjustment. Meanwhile, Ryan Hunter-Reay and Scott Dixon both said they were impressed with the mileage they were able to get. Ryan Hunter-Reay said, hey, if we can do that all day long and make the numbers we need to make, I'm very happy. No changes on the wing or air pressure for Ryan Hunter-Reay. Same for Scott Dixon, who is very happy with the car and about to give up the lead to Hunter-Reay just to make sure they can save a little bit of fuel. Dixon going to use that second pit stall, and he will win the Firestone race off pit road here. And a tight race there by a bunch of guys further back.
Oh boy, that was close between Ryan Hunter-Reay and James Hinchcliffe. I think Hunter-Reay had to get on the brakes to avoid his teammate in the Firestone race off pit road. And there were lots of takers there. Virtually the whole field pitted.
2 weeks left. Only the best remain. Who will make the cut and take one more step toward the ultimate prize, the BMW Championship on NBC.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
Good as it gets in the Great Land. Summer clearance event is on at your hometown dealer, Anchorage Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on East 5th.
Alaska's largest, clearing out the greatest deals in the Great Land. Ram trucks as low as $31,741. Cherokees $21,477. Compass just $19,456. Renegade only $17,835, and Grand Cherokees just $32,197. Incredible factory incentives and hometown dealer discounts too.
And now, for my next trick, I can make all the sugar disappear.
Yeah, show me. Kids can make large amounts of sugar disappear just by gulping down the drinks that we buy them. And sometimes they even look healthy, but they're loaded with added sugar. There's no illusion about this healthy drink. It's just water, and it's what kids need.
Apartments.com makes getting into a new home easier than ever.
How hot do you think it is?
1 million. If only we had AC. I'm so happy.
Apartments.com, the most popular place to find a place.
3 derm ingredients in 1 cream? Don't settle for less. Revitalift Triple Power with pro-retinol plus hyaluronic acid and vitamin C. It visibly reduces wrinkles, firms, and brightens. Now that's Triple Power. Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer from L'Oreal.
You're watching KTUU, Channel 2, Anchorage.
And again, a reminder for those who've not been watching the NTT IndyCar Series throughout the year. 6 races, Dixon in the top 5 times, including winning the first 3 races. He's been the dominant one, the favorite coming in. Strong performance so far. As they continue to work on the track, before we go back to green, we go to Rutledge Wood.
Mike, we know fans here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway have so much dedication, and one fan was watching practice, and he said, hey, I think somebody's backyard backs up to that gap in the fence and the seating in turn 3. He goes and knocks on the door, strikes up a deal, about $400 plus wood later. He's got his very own platform and his own seat here to watch the race at IMS. These fans have been out here anywhere they could find all weekend long. Tons of dedication, Mike.
Thank you, Rutt. We'll head back up to Lee Diffie as we get ready. Lee, there is Joe, the man with a plan, and he pulled it off in grand style. His chance to keep his streak, although Doug Bowles, the president of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, told all the fans who usually come and say, I've been to 25, I've been to 27 in a row. If you're watching on TV, it counts and your streak rolls on.
That was dedicated and certified in a proclamation from the president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, wasn't it? And he said, I've never done this before in my 7 years of leadership, but I'm doing it today because the fans mean so much. You mean so much to this venue, to this series, to all of us, and we miss you dearly. It doesn't feel the same without you. It feels quite strange, to be honest. But we will get a good race here, and it's already given us something pretty interesting, right, Paul?
I think Pagenaud right now is ready to go. I think he wants to work his way to the front right here with his teammate Will Power, and then them work together. This is the great opportunity that he has right now to go 2 in a row. Look at him, he's right up the back.
Think about Oliver Askew in this Arrow McLaren SP car right at the front. He won the Indy Lights race here a year ago. He is going to lead the defending Indy 500 winner back to green.
Well, he's not going to lead for long because that was a masterful restart, and Pagenaud's going to be by before they even hit the start-finish line.
Look at the field behind him, 6 wide. Further back, you've got 7 Chevrolet cars to lead the restart, and then a bunch of angry fast Hondas coming. Look at Dixon getting checked up there.
He's trying to get around Ben Hanley in the Dragon Speed entry. Zach Veach is coming up on Takuma Sato. Dixon tucks back in. Veach goes around the outside.
3 wide, coming onto the back straightaway in the back. Look at these guys in the back here. It's craziness.
All jostling for position. And again, Rossi ducks out. Rossi's working Dixon there. Gets around Ben Hanley. Andretti's tucked in behind. So too Hunter Ray. And then the teenage rookie Rinus VK.
Got the slowest car in the field with Ben Hanley. doing his best to try to stay out of trouble.
This is a time when you got to just settle in. These guys driving crazy on the front straightaway, right up against the wall. You can get yourself, Townsend, in trouble early.
Here it comes. VK to the high side. Hunter Ray in front of Marco Andretti. And look at Santino Ferrucci in that bright yellow Sealmaster car going to the outside of Joseph Newgarden. They'll go too wide through turn 2.
Nothing is frightening. Rinus VeeKay, the 19-year-old from the Netherlands, in his first Indy 500, is pulling off moves of a veteran, and he does another one there, inside on Ben Hanley.
But stark contrast to the vets and these new young guns that are in the IndyCar Series. Santino Ferrucci comes around the outside of Hinchcliffe. Outside pass.
I thought Hinchcliffe might back out of it there in the short shoot, but Ferrucci stayed with it, Hinch stayed with it, and now they get a big run down the front straightaway. I'll tell you, Dixon really was able to get away from Hunter Ray. There's Ferrucci on another move.
On Pato O'Ward.
He was right up against the wall, inches from the wall.
I gotta say, he flagged this. He told me 2 days ago, he said, Diff, are you ready for some outside moves? Because I'm going to execute them. I'm not happy with where I qualified. I'm going to put on a show for you guys.
Has certainly been frustrated, Townsend, with being outrun by his rookie teammate Palou, but he's gotten by him. There's Palou right there, about 8 or 9 positions behind his teammate, and he is really making some strong moves.
Joseph Newgarden there in the red-white car has his hands full. That's Colton Herta in the white, orange, and light blue car all over the back, followed by Alex Palou. So all kinds of action. Conor Daly being passed by Tony Kanaan into turn 1.
Santino's looking for a move on Marco Andretti now as he's trying to set it up off 1 and 2.
Riding there with Conor Daly in the US Air Force Chevrolet. Daly is a little further back. He's in 23rd position at the moment. Andretti on the inside of Ben Hanley.
Ben Hanley's just got to hang on here. He started all the way in the back. He's a journeyman driver, does a lot of sports car racing all over the world, and now he's Townsend shoved right to the front of the pack, and he's just got to survive this and get the experience.
He's got to survive, and so do some of these faster cars like Santino Ferrucci. They've lost about 6 seconds to guys like Scott Dixon, who made moves early. Kelly, what's going on down there?
Well, Townsend, Marcus Ericsson has now been released from the infield care center. Disappointed for sure. I heard you, Marcus, say you were finding your rhythm. The car felt good. What led into that crash?
Yeah, I'm not sure. We need to look at the data there and see how it happened. The car was feeling really, really good. The Husky Chocolate Honda, was on rails, and we were making progress during that first stint. And yeah, I was feeling really good out there. So it sort of took me by surprise, that rear stepping out on me, and almost catched it, but couldn't really. And yeah, that was the end of the day.
You are so confident coming into this race. I can't imagine what it feels like to be out of it this early.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you have such a good car. I really felt like we had a car to fight for the win today, and I think I showed that in the first 25 laps. That we really was making progress, and I felt so good out there. So just makes it even tougher, and even more disappointing.
Thank you, Marcus.
Marcus Ericsson out of his second Indianapolis 500. This man, the second car in shot, the Sonax Chevrolet, is Rinus VeeKay. His real name is Rinus von Kalmthout, but he made life easy on broadcasters like us by just saying Rinus VeeKay will do. And there's a Dutch driver in Formula One who we all know, by Max Verstappen. There he is on the right, and that's Rinus VeeKay on the left. That's nearly 10 years ago. 2 Dutch kids doing great on the world scene.
And no doubt everybody in the Netherlands pulling for Rinus VeeKay today. You can see the passion in his eyes, but he admitted to me before the race, I'm a little nervous. I think those nerves have gone out the window. And Lee, you talked about those daring moves that he's willing to make. That eventually makes other drivers in the field not so happy. So we'll see if he can continue to show that speed and that bravery all afternoon long.
Indy 500 vet J.R. Hildebrand leading this group, but Hunter Ray right there had a bad pit stop, and it kind of cycled him back to 10th, but he hasn't really moved forward.
Simon Pagenaud, the defending Indy 500 race winner, leads the way over Oliver Askew and Will Power, Charlie Kimball and Helio Castro-Neves. Those 5 cars are off strategy in comparison to the man who dominated the early phase of this race, Scott Dixon, who runs in 6th. But Pagenaud out in front and in control. Boy, there's signs of 2019. We'll see.
We could never do what they do, but what we can do is be a partner that never quits. Verizon is the most reliable network in America, built for interoperability, and puts first responders first, giving their calls priority 24/7. We do what we do best, so they can too.
I'm going to play outside.
Be back before
it's dark, I know.
Experience amazing.
Your house brought you together. Like, really together. And although together is great, together with more space is better. With Rocket Mortgage, you get personalized loan options, closing costs, and tax estimates all in real time. So when you need to know what it takes for a home to fit your budget and your family, Rocket can.
Providing a layer of protection you can count on, WeatherTech features non-porous surfaces that can easily be wiped with germ-killing disinfectants and can easily be washed out for complete protection, front, back, and even up the sides. It's not so easy with carpet mats. Stay safe with WeatherTech, the ultimate protection for your vehicle. Order today at WeatherTech.com.
Now, only in the Subway app or online. Any footlong is a $5 footlong when you buy two. Even the new barbecue rib. Subway, eat fresh.
We love our new home. There's so much space.
We have a guest room now.
But we have ants.
You're slouching again, Ted.
Expired. Expired. Expired.
Thanks, Aunt Bonnie.
It's a lot of house. I hope you can keep it clean.
At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
Which helps us save a lot of money.
Oh, Teddy, did you get my friend request?
Oh, I'll have to check.
Aunt Joni's here.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
Lost Speedways, the new Peacock original documentary series hosted by Dale Earnhardt Jr. with co-host Matthew Dillner, is an exploratory journey that spans the entire country as the pair uncover great racing cathedrals of the past and stories hidden there. All episodes of Lost Speedways are now streaming completely free, exclusively on Peacock, and you can sign up at peacocktv.com today. To Kevin Lee. Kev?
Diff, last year's winner Simon Pagenaud, starting in 25th, said, we just got to figure out a way to get clean air. Well, by pitting early under that first caution, they cycled to their front, they got it, he's taken off, but he's picked up a vibration here in the last couple of laps and really wants to get to that first pit stop. Meanwhile, Oliver Askew right behind him did a 3-wide pass on the last restart to get by Will Power and Simon Pagenaud, and it was fun to watch and also listen to on the radio.
All right, bud, looking good. You'll be all clear down here. Champion strategy, man. Think like one. You're all clear behind, no pressure. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're sticking right with Simon. Keep it up. Nice job.
He said he used to get super nervous and even stop racing as a kid, but somehow, after taking a year off and went back, no nerves coming into this 500, Marty. Oliver Askew is second as a rookie.
Boy, Kevin, you never know when strategy in a race can flip. It could be lap 8 for the 2020 Indy 500. Simon Pagenaud, Will Power, Helio Castroneves, all of these guys pitting right here while everybody else, Scott Dixon, Alexander Rossi, they've got another 10 laps on the track at least. So we're going to see this all day long, Kevin.
So Simon Pagenaud was planning on going about 3 laps longer. Oliver Askew was told, come in when the leader comes in. So the top 2 are in. Front wing adjustment there you see on Menard Chevrolet. And Pagenaud is out, but Askew beat him with a quicker stop.
Tell you what, those McLaren guys are very fast in the pit lane. They just beat Team Penske. Unbelievable.
Well, interestingly enough, Billy Vincent is the strategist, Townsend, for Oliver Askew at Arrow McLaren SP. He used to work at Team Penske.
He knows all the tricks of the trade. As Askew comes off the pit speed limiter, now this is where you really have to hustle. Tough as a rookie. He'll just duck the right sides over that white line, try to
Gray one here, gray one.
maximize the radius as Castroneves comes in. Down to you, Kevin.
So Helio Castroneves said, I'm doing something very different than everyone else. It's either going to work well and we'll have a chance to win, or I'm going to sink like a rock. So far, he's been pretty stationary. Real quick stop, though, for the Pennzoil number 3 Penske team.
Right now, Power stays out. We'll be looking for him anytime soon as Kimball follows him, and Dixon now has cycled his way back to third and will pick up the lead when Power and Kimball pit. So everything going to plan right now, as I think Power's coming in, followed by Kimball.
Oh, Will Power just about loses the back end of that Verizon Chevy as he comes to the line.
Will Power, they made an adjustment to the wing. His first pit stop on lap 8. Will Power now up in clean air. He had been running third, then pitted from the lead. He said no changes this time around. They've had a lot of pit miscues this season, looking for some good clean stops here today.
It's a fast stop. Dixon now back to the point, followed by Rossi. And the way it's looking now, this is going to be a dogfight, I think, between Dixon and Rossi all the way, at least for the next 150 miles.
And all 4 Penske cars on a different strategy, albeit 3 of them by 1 lap. And then you got Newgarden on a different one totally. So we'll see how that works, because there's Simon Pagenaud, there's Helio Castroneves, who was able to not leapfrog Simon Pagenaud. And here comes the other 2 guys on that different strategy. Scott Dixon.
There's the issue, guys. Scott Dixon is looking just down the road now at lapping Pagenaud and Power, who just came out of the pits in front of him. So you can almost go a lap down here on a pit stop, Townsend.
I was going to say, Paul, yeah, you have to be within 5 seconds of the leader, or if you're the leader, the guy who's going to take the lead cannot be further than 5 seconds or closer than 5 seconds to you, or you could go down a lap. Simon Pagenaud right now, 33 seconds behind, so he is about to go a lap down if Dixon can lay down some laps right here. But Dixon said when he was leading out front, he was happy with the fuel consumption. With all this aero screen, the new aero screen that's on the car, it is really a penalty to be out front and lead. If you're Alexander Rossi riding behind him, you can save much more fuel.
Yeah, I think Scott Dixon's going to want to try to save as much as he can, as well as Rossi, who's going to be content to save fuel. So I don't think they're going to try to push the issue, but Pagenaud, Power, they've got to go flat out, Townsend, because you don't want to get lapped here.
Riding aboard Alexander Rossi with the AutoNation onboard camera. T-Bell, take us for a ride. Tell us about how you get around the speedway.
Well, you're still going to pick up turbulent air this far back from Scott Dixon, so you want to arc it up high, try to get late to the apex in turn 1, especially as the wind's picking up. With the crosswind in 2, get in early, get your left front down below that white line. That's where all the grip is. Now grab the gears, try to follow the draft of Scott Dixon. Let's listen to see if Rossi saves any fuel here.
Clicked it up into 6th gear there, back down to 5th. So not flat out all the way around the track right now. You've got to, you hear him breathe it in about every corner and downshift.
Gets a little bit of a moment there, had to check up coming off of turn 4. He's got
6 seconds in front of him now.
Nice run coming down the front straightaway. I think Dixon's saving fuel at this point. Rossi checking up. So Dixon knows I've got the lead. I just keep Rossi where he is, but I don't want to burn more fuel than I have to, because I'll bet Rossi doesn't want to lead at this point in the race either. Remember, the less fuel you use, the shorter the pit stop to refill it on pit lane.
By the way, who won the competition at home? We are thinking of you, the fans, and that competition is, I've done it myself when watching the 500. Who picked Dixon to be leading at lap 50, quarter race distance? If you did, congratulations, that was a wise choice. He has led the most laps in the race thus far.
The best way to experience something in life is for yourself. And Firestone tires were built for getting out there, for 3-day weekends, and for testing the waters. Try Firestone tires for 90 days. If you're not fully satisfied, we'll refund or replace. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
The Tracker Ox 400. A breakthrough American value starting at $59.99 plus freight. For a limited time, use your club card and receive 0% financing for 12 months on any in-store Tracker boat and ATV Center purchase worth $500 or more. After that, your in-store APR will apply.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
I wish I could shake your hand.
Granted. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
So you could have chocolate, you could have a marshmallow, you could have a graham cracker.
But they're just ingredients.
Yes, until you actually melt them together.
Turn up the heat.
They're not a s'more.
No.
This is a s'more.
Toasted s'more shake.
Our most capable SUV ever. It's your passport to adventure. The Passport Elite from Honda.
The die-hard batteries you know and trust are now at Advance. Unrivaled performance meets unrivaled expertise. Die-hard batteries, now at Advance Auto Parts.
In both racing and investing, winning demands consistency. Lap after lap after lap. Gainbridge offers intuitive annuity products within an innovative digital platform to help you protect and grow your money, empowering you to save with confidence. Gainbridge, proud sponsor of the Indianapolis 500.
Nothing like these amazing images of the famed Brickyard. And today's aerial coverage is brought to you by Guaranteed Rate. It sure looks different, doesn't it? With no fans in the stands. We miss you. The race goes on, and as many have been saying, this is the race that the pandemic would not stop. And we're pleased about that. Scott Dixon is pleased to have led 36 laps so far. Let's take you back just a few short moments ago and some radio for Dixon.
Dual position 5 now with the sequence. Now we're in you and Rossi. Tell us about the car. Yeah, I just feel light. Conor Daly about belts.
Feels a little light, Townsend, on downforce. He's got that narrow center wicker. We've heard some chatter about the guys that have the full long wicker, maybe feeling they're a little bit too over downforce. Like Ferrucci said, I can't get by when it strings out, but on the restarts, he can really make some moves.
He can, and when he's out front in clean air, he seems to be making great speed, and I think pretty comfortable on where they stand fuel-wise. But now the challenge is catching lap traffic as Scott Dixon's coming up on Ed Carpenter, who is 13 laps down after the contact on the start with the wall. And this is where you're really looking for some favors. These guys they're friends and neighbors here in Indianapolis, but it's going to be tough for Dixon to try to make a move. He's been able to open up a gap of about 1.5 seconds over Rossi, but that's going to quickly dissipate, Marty.
Dixon right now, Marty's running about 2-3 miles an hour faster than Pagano, and he's starting to close that gap. If he can get by Ed right here, the gap is steadily closing down.
And Paul, catching that traffic might force Dixon to pit road a little bit earlier. They're planning on coming here in about 4 laps. Meanwhile, Takuma Sato back there with Ryan Hunter-Reay going to make a move to go around Ryan Hunter-Reay. They told Hunter-Reay a moment ago, save a little bit of fuel. Maybe we can get an extra lap on these guys. Sato, the 2017 winner of the Indy 500. I asked him, is the race live in Japan? He said, absolutely. And it's watched by a ton of people there. He said, I'll get texts all during the race of people texting me about how we're doing right now. Sato very happy with the car. A little too much understeer there, Kevin.
Marty, last year's Rookie of the Year, Santino Ferrucci, started back in 19th and had very little confidence until Friday when he thinks they found something that will allow him to be able to race. And early, he said, it's starting to come alive. He picked up 4 spots in the first stint. Slow pit stop, dropped it back to 25th. He gained 10 almost immediately and now runs 7. And he's been working on Marco Andretti for quite a few laps trying to get him, Kelly.
Kevin, if you can believe it, it's been 80 years since a native Hoosier won this race. That was Wilbur Shaw back in 1940, and now it's 28-year-old Conor Daly trying to change that today. He told me as a local kid. He practically grew up here at this speedway, idolizing the IndyCar drivers before him. Now he's among them. He said it would mean everything to him to win this race. Running 16th now. They got a little bit of work to do. He's super loose, Marty.
Kelly, you're going to see a lot of this today. Tires are important. Fresh Firestones do mean a little extra lap time. But we mentioned when you catch that lap traffic, you catch other cars, you want to come to pit road. That's the call Brian Herta made for Marco Andretti, putting on these 4 Fresh Firestones. He has too much understeer, Kelly.
Might be looking for the undercut here, Kelly, as he comes in a little bit earlier than everybody else. Fresh tires, sometimes king, as we see Spencer Pigot now trying to make some moves as he leaves the pits.
This is the 3rd car in the Rahal Letterman Lanigan camp. It's Team RLL with Citroen Buell Autosport.
What happened on this step, and I lost my balance.
Ryan Hunter-Reay saying, I lost my balance.
There you go. He was saying that as he was coming down pit road, comes in slowly to his stall. They were actually hoping to save a little bit of fuel. As you see the 7th man going over the wall there, pulling a tear off this new aero screen. Hunter-Reay said the balance kind of went away on this run. But again, they were hoping to go a lap longer than everybody else. They come earlier than everybody else. Tony Kanaan leaving pit road as well.
Something we need to update you on this different strategy, this varying strategy, is that within the Team Penske group, Will Power was able to leapfrog not only Simon Pagenaud, but then the Arrow McLaren SP driver Oliver Askew in that group. Here's Santino Ferrucci. The Sealmaster Honda has been flying today, PT.
Yeah, you're looking at, you can get a chance. Look at that back wing. You can see he's got a full wicker across the back wing, and he says great on restarts, but when it strings out, it's a little too draggy. So something that they can maybe adjust on later in the race, Townsend, try to take a little bit of back wing out of that car if they get the opportunity.
Well, take a look at this, at what just happened to Alexander Rossi as he comes to pit lane.
Outside the lines. Oh, no. He missed the pit entry.
Overcooked it out of 4. It must have been a late call, perhaps, and that's going to be a huge time loss. That's got to be several seconds he'll lose to Dixon.
Going for the big in-lap, Marty.
And Paul, we're going to see how much that will affect him. You see Scott Dixon on pit road. Right behind him, Rinus VeeKay trying to pull out of his stall. VeeKay stalls his car. You see Rossi, he leaves pretty close to Dixon, so I'm wondering if it did not hamper him that much. But VeeKay killed the car when he came out of pit road, just popped the clutch too quick, and it stalled on him. They had to push him back, crank it back up, but Rinus VeeKay going to lose a massive amount of time. He came to pit road running 3rd, guys.
That's the only blemish that this 19-year-old Dutch driver has had this month here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
He's going to come right out.
6.2 second pit stop for Dixon. Flying in the pits, flying on track. The Wicks car coming out, Dreyer Reinbold car.
Kev, what you got?
Well, Sage Karam was stopped right in the middle of pit lane. I just got down to the box to try to find out what happened, but we saw him stopped and they had to push back, so I don't know. And here we'll see a replay. So he came in too hot and he just missed the box. That's Fernando Alonso in the first stall, and then Max Chilton is back there as well. So a lot of costly track position for Karam.
Mistakes on pit lane continue. A lot of little problems going on. He doesn't race very much, Sage Karam, so he just came in down way too hot. As here comes Fernando Alonso for his 2nd stop. He looks like he's leaving now.
Sticker tires on Alonso. Talked to this morning. Alonso admitted this was going to be a very difficult day to work his way to the front.
This is actually his 3rd stop because he was one of that group that came in on lap 8. Then he came in again on lap 27. So in the Ruoff Mortgage Chevrolet, Alonso has been in now 3 times. This is Felix Rosenqvist in the NTT Honda for Chip Ganassi Racing. 2 of the 3 Ganassi cars are left in the race. Marcus Ericsson is out. Kel?
And that's Felix Rosenqvist, the 2nd Swede for Chip Ganassi Racing, making his pit stop. He said he had a little bit of understeer. You see a little adjustment there in the front ring, and he is off, Danica.
Yeah, pit stops is that point in time as a driver that there's a lot going through your head. You're trying to adjust your bars, adjust your shocks. There's a lot to think about and a lot of pressure. You know that there's football fields of length on the line if you come in a little slow or come out a little slow. So a lot going on. We saw a lot of mistakes from veterans and rookies, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
There's kind of 2 races going on at the same time here, Paul.
Yeah.
One race is the overall race. That is Scott Dixon is leading. The next closest guy on the same strategy to him is Takuma Sato, who's some 7.5. I take that back. Rossi is now 4 seconds back. And then you've got the group led by Oliver Askew, who is second, who's on a totally different lap count to Scott Dixon. So we'll keep you up to date as to who is where. Here's Helio Castro-Neves in his 20th Indy 500 in the Pennzoil Chevrolet.
Here's the thing, with that mega stop by Dixon, Askew, Pagano, Castro-Neves cycled back to the front, but he beat them on the pit stop exchange and now has created a big gap to his main rival is Rossi. So he's got a nice buffer now between him and Rossi that are on the same strategy.
That buffer about 5.6 seconds for Dixon to Rossi. So to your point, Paul, very costly mistake there on the pit entry attempt and the wave off, and Rossi had to get everything back up to speed as Dixon now catching up to the back of Alonso.
Okay, to sit here? Yes.
Gonna sit here and save fuel. Alonso's got fresh tires, so he might be fast enough, but here comes the rest of the pack.
Paul, that's the other thing for Scott Dixon. Now this puts him at a massive advantage. He can just kind of manage his fuel this entire run, and really, even more than the 5-second gap he gained when Rossi missed pit road, by saving fuel here, he can really try and put everybody else out of the game to win the 500.
And look, Rossi's going to try and get past this group that is fast. They're on a different strategy. That's rookie Oliver Askew in the Arrow McLaren SP Chevrolet making the move on the inside of fellow rookie Dalton Kellett.
He's got to realize that these guys, Townsend, are going to pit, so you don't want to get too crazy because they're not on your sequence, but he certainly can't afford to lose too much ground to Dixon.
Watch this, Townsend, Renus VK. We believe he's going to be assessed a penalty for contact with one of his crew members.
Yeah, he did have contact with a few crew members.
Locked the left front, coming into his box. Too hot. And too bad for VK. Had such a great day going, but this will really set him back.
That's going to be a stop and go for hitting team personnel. Talking about going, Takuma Sato's going well, but none better today than Scott Dixon.
How about no?
No.
No way.
Come on, no.
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 No. Only Discover has no annual fee on any card.
All right, everyone, we made it. My job is to help new homeowners who have turned into their parents.
I'm having a big lunch and then just a snack for dinner.
We're using a speakerphone in this store. Is that a good idea? One of the ways I do that is to get them out of the home.
You're looking for a grout brush.
Did he ask for your help?
No.
No. We all see it. We all see it.
Here's blue hair.
Okay.
Blue. Progressive can't protect you from becoming your parents, but we can protect your home and auto when you bundle with us.
Keep it coming. You don't know him.
I feel like I like grapefruit.
Yeah.
Wait, I want.
We should rescue it.
Yes. Your boy wants some jerky.
Make better choices. Choose Yahoo Fantasy Football.
The die-hard batteries you know and trust are now at Advance. Unrivaled performance meets unrivaled expertise. Die-hard batteries, now at Advanced Auto Parts.
Scott Dixon in the PNC Bank Honda for Chip Ganassi Racing in his 18th Indy 500 has led for 52 laps and is well and truly in control at the moment. Closest driver to him on the same strategy as Alexander Rossi is now Takuma Sato. Sato's got by Rossi is 10 seconds. Those closest to him, as you see on the progressive leaderboard there, Oliver Askew, Simon Pagenaud, Helio Castro-Neves, they're on different strategies. So how will this play out as we inch closer to the halfway of the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500?
Well, still so much and so long to play out. 125 laps to go, but right now Scott Dixon absolutely in control, using Fernando Alonso there in front. Alonso's the last car on the lead lap, and he's just serving as a lead blocker, blocking the win for Dixon, allowing him to get great fuel mileage and just increase his advantage at this point.
Yeah, the pace isn't particularly quick for Dixon, but they are pulling away from that secondary pack back there. But right now, he is a step ahead in this chess match to everybody else.
Paul running fourth right now is Helio Castro-Neves. Over a decade, he's been seeking win number 4, and this could be the last chance for him. The sports car deal is over. He's a free agent. It's not been ruled out to return to Team Penske, but the best way to return would be to win. And he said, I got a chance. But what he told me this morning is, being back here again over the last week plus, this is where I want to be. IndyCar is my home, and he's hoping to run full-time. Pit stop's coming for Castro-Neves and Pagenaud.
Pagenaud gave the signal. Now they're about to peel off. Coming around turn 4. We'll see if they both come together.
I saw Castro-Neves boys laid out, so this will be Team Penske versus Team Penske versus, I think, Will Power Team Penske. Great battle on pit lane.
Oh, Will Power locks it up again on the entry.
And Oliver Askew stays out amongst that group. He gets a little better fuel mileage and got past the Penskes. Pagenaud is in the brighter yellow Menards car, and then the Pennzoil yellow is right behind. They leave at the same time, and Pagenaud will win that race. Kelly.
Another Team Penske car on pit road. That's Will Power. He's just finished. No changes for the 12 as he slides in between his two teammates.
They all pitted a lap apart last time, all together now. Pagenaud, Power, and Helio Castro-Neves.
That's like flying in sequence like the Air Force that flew over the track in the pre-race.
The Thunderbirds appearing at the Indianapolis 500 for the first time, because usually on Memorial Day in May, they've got other commitments in other parts of the country, so it was terrific to have the Thunderbirds here. It's Charlie Kimball for AJ Foyt Racing, Kev.
And he cycled up to 5th. It's been a challenge for them, but he said, I think we finally got it figured out. Front wing adjustment here for Charlie Kimball. His dad, Gordon, who helped design Indy cars and Formula One cars. One of the few times he's never been at one of Charlie's races. Almost always there. He's watching from home in California.
But Supertex is here. AJ Foyt in his 65th Indianapolis 500. There's race leader Scott Dixon working on the back of the Ruoff Mortgage, the progressive Chevrolet for Fernando Alonso. Arrow McLaren SP. Spent some time with Fernando yesterday. Asked him about his move back to Formula One. He's got a 2-year contract with Renault. And I said, do you feel like you've got unfinished business? And he said, no, not at all. He said, I'm still as passionate as ever, but I want to enjoy this. They will be my last 2 years in Formula One, and I want to go and have some fun. He said, don't get me wrong, I'm still as determined as ever, but I don't feel like there are unchecked things. I'm going to go back, I'm going to enjoy it, I'm going to race as hard as I always have, but I'm going to really, really soak it up and make the most of it and enjoy it.
And I'm sure he's enjoying a little bit of clean air, but it's not great for fuel mileage for Alonso. Again, last car on the lead lap, so he's going to need a break here, either a yellow or something else to help get him to the front as Askew comes into pit lane. Let's watch this one.
And what a story he's been so far. He's passed Simon Pagenaud, Will Power on track. He made a last-second pass to win the Freedom 100 last year. There's the tear-off to clean off that aero screen that they pull off on pit lane. Askew is back out.
First Indianapolis 500 with the aero screen. You notice the extra pit crew member gets over there and pulls the tear off to keep that windshield, that aero screen clear. There is the Salesforce Chevrolet, the Dreyer and Reinbold entry for J.R. Hildebrand. Got a really interesting helmet design for this year's 500. Very motivational quotes, words, statements to try and kind of spark a thought and get us all to act a little bit better in 2020 and the years beyond.
There you see the battle, Lee, of the alt strategy. Pagenaud, Power, Castro-Neves around Oliver Askew on the pit stop cycle.
There's a little bit of a slow stop for Askew compared to the Penske's. The Penske's all did phenomenal stops. They had a small issue on the inside front, but he slots back out. But right now, Dixon has a 10-second lead over Sato. Rossi 11 seconds, and Andretti right behind Rossi now, and Ferrucci has moved up into 5th.
60 laps out in front. That sounds pretty good to Chip Ganassi and his longest tenured driver, Scott Dixon of New Zealand, continues to lead the way.
When it comes to buying a home, they say cash is king. But you're a queen, and that's just as powerful. You're armed with a verified approval from Rocket Mortgage. Sellers know your offer is good, so your bid has the strength to compete with cash offers. Now grab your crown and rule. That castle is yours. So when you need an edge in the bidding war, Rocket can.
The Lexus RCF. Experience performance in every detail. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Tara, did you know Geico is now offering an extra 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies?
Wow, okay.
That's 15% on top of what Geico could already save you. So what are you waiting for? Idina Menzel to sing your own theme song?
Tara, Tara, look at her go with a fresh cup of joe, getting down to work early, following her dreams into taxidermy.
It's tax attorney.
I read that wrong, oh yeah!
Geico. Save an extra 15% when you switch by October 7th.
Wendy's famous 4 for $4 is heating up with the new Spicy Crispy Chicken Sandwich. And yes, you can get it with spicy nugs, fries, and a drink, all for just $4. Is it getting hot in here? Or did the Queen of Spice just deliver the hottest deal in fast food?
We could never do what they do. But what we can do is be a partner that never quits. Verizon is the most reliable network in America, built for interoperability and puts first responders first, giving their calls priority 24/7. We do what we do best, so they can too.
American Pharoah is a superstar. This kid's going to be as good as him.
Most of them have a certain type of look to them. That big shoulder, big nostril.
He's definitely got that magical stride.
We got it.
This is a game of dreams.
I want the next Pharaoh. I want a horse that runs like that.
There's always hope until there isn't, right?
Third caution of the day flies here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for 26-year-old Canadian and rookie at the 500, Dalton Kellett for AJ Foyt Racing.
He's done a nice job this month. You know, people said he was maybe a little over his head for this. And Townsend, he's really been consistent, had nice pace, qualified well, but here we get a replay. He goes on the inside and just kind of stuffs it in there and then gets the wake wash and runs it up into the gray and bangs the wall. So
he had a run going on Ben Hanley, and I think he thought Hanley would give him the corner, and then he washed up into the dirty air. Very similar to the Marcus Ericsson impact at the other end of the track as we ride on board with Rossi. Up ahead, you see Hanley come across the nose of Kellett. And
low.
Got to be so careful. That's almost an identical accident that Scott Dixon had a couple years ago when the car hit the wall like that, and then it came down across in front of him, and pretty good damage to Dalton's car. But now we're under yellow. This is going to change up, Marty. The whole strategy game is going to get tossed upside down again.
Yeah, Paul, that was a good break for everybody in the field except Scott Dixon, comfortably out there with that 10-second lead of Sato and honestly saving fuel at that point. Dixon did not need this caution, but everybody else certainly did. Takuma Sato and Alexander Rossi as well. They run 1, 2, 3. Pits will open, in theory, next time by, but Dixon did not want to see this caution.
on board the AutoNation Napa Auto Parts Honda there with Alexander Rossi, who's also has a special Indianapolis 500 helmet dedicated to first responders. Look at that in the center of your screen. The big thank you to everybody on the front line during this COVID-19 pandemic. A really nice gesture from Alexander and his team. So he sits third. His teammate Marco Andretti fourth. Santino Ferrucci, last year's Rookie of the Year in the 500 fifth. Hunter Ray, another Andretti car in sixth. Lead rookie is Pato O'Ward in seventh. And then James Hinchcliffe, Colton Herter, and the first Penske car, and only the second Chevrolet in the top 10, Joseph Newgarden, in 10th. AMR safety team again on the spot, nice and quick to aid the AJ Foyt car of Dalton Kellett. Now, with the unprecedented speed and bandwidth of Verizon 5G Ultra Wideband, a 5G connected camera, there it is right there, is capturing unique angles of all the excitement surrounding the Indy 500. And again, there's no cables as far as that. That's a 5G connected camera. So pretty cool, pushing the technology parameters to make the sport we love so much better. Hi. That's not what Dalton Kellett wanted to see. His K-Line Insulators Chevrolet going back on the flatbed to join Marcus Ericsson and James Davison as the retirees, just the three retirees from this year's race.
Should be interesting with the tow truck. Some going low. Dixon goes low to pit lane. Others stay out.
Not optimal there, but he got a big gap there to everybody. People are staying out, but look at the gap to Sato. So
tow truck was like a pick there.
Yeah, I know.
Look at that lead Dixon has. Marty, let's find out what Scott Dixon has, if those guys can be 6 seconds again.
Yeah, some of these guys kind of staying out here, so a little reversal of strategy, but Takuma Sato, kind of a sigh of relief in the 30 camp. He said, undo that last wing change. Did not like that. They're going to change with air pressure. He's dealing with understeer once he hits traffic. Alexander Rossi, you talk about a sigh of relief. The man who missed pit road earlier, he gets to close up that 5-second gap. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment. Dixon easily wins the race off pit road, even though there was a long debate about whether or not they wanted to come down pit road. Everybody up front comes down pit road.
Trouble for Marco Andretti with the right rear. He loses 2 spots. Look at Newgarden. Team Penske getting 5 positions to last year's champion on the pit stop. Well done.
Tell you what, Marco Andretti pulled in right in front of Dixon, and that could create trouble for him to get out later on in the race.
Good work from Pato O'Ward and the Arrow McLaren SP team as well. They got the young rookie. There he is. They got him up 3 spots.
Find your keys. Find your get up and go. Find pants that aren't sweats. Find your friends. Find your sense of wonder. Find the world is new again. At Chevy, we'd like to take you there. Now during the Chevy Open Road Sales Event, get up to 15% of MSRP cash back on select 2020 models. That's over $5,700 cash back on this Equinox. It's time to find new roads again.
We got one of those new purple mattresses, and it is amazing. You have to try it.
Oh, this doesn't feel like memory foam.
No.
This feels amazing.
Right?
What is it?
Actually, it's called Purple, and it's a completely unique comfort technology, meticulously designed to cradle and support the human body.
Cool.
Get up to $350 off a mattress and sleep bundle. Call 1-885-PURPLE or visit purple.com/TV today. Only Purple.
Expect anything different?
Being an IndyCar driver is like being an astronaut.
It's like being a rock star jet fighter pilot.
Being an IndyCar driver is like being nothing else.
I feel like I like grapefruit.
Yeah.
Wait, I want. We should rescue it. Yes.
Your boy wants some jerky?
Make better choices. Choose Yahoo Fantasy Football.
You're watching NBC's coverage of the Indy 500. Brought to you by NTT, official sponsor and technology partner of the NTT IndyCar Series. Progressive, stay on track with great rates at progressive.com. Guaranteed rate. Mortgage rates are historically low. Visit rate.com today. And by Firestone. Drive the tire that drives IndyCar legends.
The definition of a partly cloudy day, half of the 2.5-mile oval surrounded by clouds, sunshine on the rest. It is lap 90 of 200. We're approaching halfway. 3 cautions, 3 cars out so far. Danica Patrick, a lot of the conversation about strategy, and we'll get to all the nitty-gritty here in a little bit. For the driver, can you get involved in the thoughts of the strategy, or do you just have to believe in the engineers and your team and block all that out and just do what you're doing?
As a driver, you're sitting in the car and you're really at the mercy of what they're telling you is going on, especially during green. Now, under yellow, you start to get a real feel for where you stack up, so you can get a little frustrated at times. But when you're on track under green, you're kind of lost. You really need your team to tell you where you're at. And your job as a driver is to very much just drive that strategy.
So how's Scott Dixon feeling right now? Because as the guy said, he's the one for whom that yellow was a bad break.
Right.
Still, he's looked like he's been as good a car as any, if not the clear best, thus far through 90 laps.
Right. Well, yes, he lost that 10-second lead that he so, valiantly got. But he is still leading the leader's strategy. So like I said before the show, before the race started, is that there's the leader's strategy and then there's off strategy, and they both have a great chance of winning. I also said that Penske also likes to divide and make sure that they can conquer. And so we've got Penske's on both sides of that, but Dixon's leading, Rosenquist is leading, and so we'll see how this plays out.
Well, here comes more strategy changes. Late pit stops. Let's go down and watch this set. Kevin's down there.
Mike, a lot of these that pitted on 76 came in, including Simon Pagenaud, because they would have needed 4 stops if it stayed green. Now they can get home on 3 the rest of the way, Kelly.
And for his teammate Will Power, he's been talking about kind of a pushy, loose feeling. The team telling him to suffer the front bar, but they've made no changes on pit road, just some Firestone tires and Speedway fuel.
And he beats his 2 teammates out. How did you like the rookie Oliver Askew trying to wedge his way in between Elio Castro-Neves and Pagenaud? And Elio said, I don't think so, young man.
Well, VK has wedged himself in between those Penske teammates, but Townsend, this really kind of puts everybody back on the same strategy within a couple of laps now. So everything is kind of like back to square one at literally half distance.
Yes, advantage Dixon really.
Yes, he lost the gap to Sato, but he doesn't end up unlucky on strategy there. So we'll see what happens on this restart, because Sato was looking also awfully racy along with Alexander Rossi on some of those restarts.
Let's go to Rutledge Wood.
Lee, we've got a chance for fans to be a part of this historic 104th running using the hashtag message in a milk bottle. All the drivers filled out some stuff. We're getting some great tweets that are rolling in. Fans, we love you. We know we wish you were here with us, but make sure you get yours in just like Marie McIntosh did. She's enjoying watching it. A totally different view in the driveway this year in the backyard, but also so did Charlie South Jr. He sent one in too. Everybody's trying to have as much fun as they can. It's a different IMS, but like we heard Doug Bowles say earlier, if you're watching, it counts for being here. Guys, it is getting so intense.
First Indianapolis 500 with the new ownership after 75 years in the hands of the Holman George family. It is now Roger Penske and his organization owning the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and also the NTT IndyCar Series. So we're in good hands with the captain. This is what happened to the Genesis Honda of James Hinchcliffe, or what didn't happen.
Looks like the car stalled, perhaps, or maybe he wasn't able to get it in gear. It's tough to tell if the engine's still running there.
Yeah, he didn't even try to launch, so something odd. Maybe it went into anti-stall mode and just wouldn't rev up, but we're coming to the restart, Lee. Let's rock and roll, baby.
Yeah, and we've now got 2 Chevrolets in the top 5. They're trying to take the fight back to the Hondas, but it's Scott Dixon for Chip Ganassi Racing that'll see the green flag first. Let's go. Takuma Sato is not too far behind, and Alexander Rossi as well. Oh! Pick up the rookie. There's a spinner.
Connor Daly spins it. Oh,
big
hard hit for, I think,
Oliver Askew.
Oliver Askew lost it in the smoke, and that was a massive hit.
That was nasty.
So it was panic in the back when Conor Daly lit it up and lost it. And then you can't, I would imagine, Townsend, that the smoke he probably couldn't see.
Well, but he was, I mean, he was so fast onto the scene. I'm not sure if Conor Daly was hit or what happened, as the AMR team quick to tend to Askew, get the fire out on the right rear.
That was a big hit.
Wow, that was a vicious angle, too, that he came darting off of turn 4.
Not to bring up bad subjects, Danica, but you've had accidents where you just go straight towards the wall. I've actually never had one, and you're just a passenger. You're like, oh, my God, this is going to be a big one.
So that's Conor Daly in the US Air Force Chevrolet for Ed Carpenter Racing. Conor is talking to the AMR safety team, and they will they'll help him out of that car in just a moment.
Danica, what's it like when you have no control of your car? Like you've had it happen at Daytona, where you're going at an angle and you can't stop, but you're just looking at the wall going, oh my God, here we go.
Well, I think you saw the NASCAR drivers started doing what I was doing in those wrecks that I learned from an Indy car, which was to let go of the steering wheel. Once you've lost it and there's no getting it back, you just let go, because in an Indy car, your thumbs can break and get caught in the steering wheel. So I started doing that in stock cars, and it's funny, I've seen some more of that ever since then.
Conor Daly is out of his Ed Carpenter Racing Chevrolet, his 7th Indy 500. Coming to a very premature end. This is Oliver Askew trying to get himself out of that Arrow McLaren SP Chevy, the youngster who had done so well in this race.
For sure, he hit the wall really hard, so he's shaking up a little bit there, but he's out.
And thinking about a very scary moment that he had coming off of 4. The gloves come off, and it looks like
there's a lot of, I mean, you get the wind knocked right out of you when you hit that hard. Just needs a minute here to get his bearings around him.
Might have smacked his knees together. That's one of the things that'll get you in an Indy car, is an impact like that. You get the inside of both knees effectively clapped together at a ferocious rate.
This is the Indy Lights champion of a year ago, the 23-year-old from Florida. He's been on the podium in his rookie season. He's a very nice young man who's got a big future ahead of him. That was the speed at which he darted across.
So here we go. Conor just loses it on the power. He's down way low. Lots of smoke. He's got the throttle wide open. And in the back here, I don't really know I don't know if he got touched, but bang, side slap, pancake the wall.
Thank goodness for the safer barrier. Thank goodness for the safer barrier.
I wonder if Conor got his left front onto that apron that caught out Alonso in practice.
Yeah, I think it might, Townsend, it was maybe just trying to get squared up to get it running on that concrete. We got a great view right here if he touched that concrete. Yeah, he's on the concrete.
Yep.
So on the concrete, it jacks weight in the car, and you're full power, and he loses it, keeps the throttle buried. But it'll be interesting to see if we can get an angle if Askew got turned by somebody, because of the way the trajectory was, where he went towards the inside.
The view from Zach Veach and the game bridge on board.
There goes Conor. Veach to the high side, but we still don't really see what happened with Askew.
Askew was fast arriving on the scene behind Elio Castro Neves and Simon Pagenaud. Look down to the bottom left. He just took evasive action.
Yeah, he just got caught in the smoke and didn't know where the car was. You couldn't see it. I couldn't see it even with the camera, the high angle, and he just was trying to avoid it. And
just had a big oversteer moment there.
So confronting. But again, Oliver Askew is out of his car, so too Conor Daly. Bottom left is where you'll see Askew take evasive action.
One of the things that can happen on these restarts that you don't see so easily is that sometimes you can check up, and if the car's a little light anyway, you're already not at speed with the right downforce, so all of a sudden the car gets even lighter as you lift, and bad things happen.
We had an onboard with Oliver Askew, and hopefully caught the moment to try to get a better read of what happened. Here we go.
You're all clear. One spin out front, one spin out front. Stay high.
It was on the brakes, Paul.
Yeah, you couldn't see Conor's car, and everybody was checking up in front of him. It was option A was to run into the back of the cars in front of him or avoid, and it just hooked on him on the brakes.
One of the challenges is that you run a lot of rear brake bias here so that you don't lock up front tires coming to pit lane and coming into your box like we saw earlier with Oliver Askew. So the flip side is all that rear brake bias can catch you out in a moment like that because you're normally never using the brakes at race pace.
A really frightening moment, but again repeating, Conor Daly and Oliver Askew out of their respective race cars brings out the fourth portion of the day.
Tonight, the Stanley Cup playoffs are on NBC. Two of the NHL's top goal-scoring teams face off in prime time. Bruins, Lightning. There's nothing like playoff hockey. Tonight on NBC.
2 weeks left. Only the best remain. Who will make the cut and take one more step toward the ultimate prize, the BMW Championship on NBC.
Next evolution of Justice Network is here.
I love this part.
It's the only 24/7 true crime broadcast network. Justice Network is now the True Crime Network.
Good as it gets in the Great Land. Summer clearance event is on at your hometown dealer, Anchorage Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on East 5th.
Alaska's largest, clearing out the greatest deals in the Great Land. Ram trucks as low as $31,741. Cherokees, $21,477. Compass, just $19,456. Renegade, only $17,835. And Grand Cherokees, just $32,197. Incredible factory incentives and hometown dealer discounts, too.
Thank you. Grazie.
Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you, Providence Imaging Center.
Thank you. These 2 words aren't sufficient to express my gratitude. At a time in my life when questions needed answers and my future was clouded by insecurity, Providence Imaging Center was there, caring about me and for me. The relationship I've built with my friends at Providence Imaging Center has saved my life. I know they can help you. Call them today.
The COVID-19 outbreak. Alaskans have questions. Channel 2 News has answers. Investigative reporter Jill Burke tracks down answers to help you stay healthy and informed. Send an email to questions@ktuu.com. You're watching KTUU, Channel 2, Anchorage.
We welcome you back to NBC Sports coverage of the 104th Indianapolis 500, presented by Gainbridge. Lee Diffie, Townsend Bell, Paul Tracy with you on the call, Danica Patrick and Mike Tirico, and working pit road, Kelly Stavis, Kevin Lee, and Marty Snyder. What you got, Marty?
Hey, Lee, one of the interesting things about doing the Indy 500 here in August on an almost a 90-degree day here in Indianapolis is that the pit box here on pit road for Alexander Rossi and his team has actually overheated twice. They've had to shut it down, recycle it, and when they do that, they lose communication with Alexander. You see them trying to do everything they can to keep it cool inside. And Rob Edwards told me that's certainly one of the aspects of why we missed pit road earlier on. He said we made a very late call for Alexander to come to pit road. We didn't tell him until he was in turn 4 to come to pit road. That was on us, not on Alexander. No way he could have slowed down to make it to pit road. So a warm afternoon here in Indianapolis, and certainly having an effect not only on the drivers in the car, but also here on pit road as well. Under caution, Scott Dixon still leading here in the Indy 500.
There's a reason drivers have trusted Firestone tires since the very first Indy 500. Drivers like Haroon, Shaw, Voigt, Andretti, Rossi. Because while finishing is hard enough, it's winning that makes you a champion. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
And Doug.
You know, Limu, after all these years, it's the ones that got away that haunt me the most. Because you're not like everybody else.
That's why Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance. So you only pay for what you need.
What?
Oh, I said.
Oh, this is my floor.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name.
Applebee's. All your favorite burgers, all just $8.99. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood.
The die-hard batteries you know and trust are now at Advance. Unrivaled performance meets unrivaled expertise. Die-hard batteries, now at Advance Auto Parts.
At some point in their life, 52% of all men will experience erectile dysfunction. But most of them never get treated. Now there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. With Roman, you can get genuine medication prescribed by a U.S. licensed physician, all from the comfort of your home. If medication is right for you, Roman delivers it with free 2-day shipping in discreet packaging. Get started with a free online visit today at GetRoman.com/TV.
Social distancing protects against the spread of coronavirus.
It means avoiding groups
and staying at least 6 feet apart from others.
Even if you don't feel sick, you can help those around you by keeping your distance.
But just because we're at arm's length doesn't mean we're alone.
We're in this together.
Let's help keep everyone safe.
Stay healthy, stay safe, stay home.
The more you know.
One lap away from the midpoint of the Indianapolis 500 under yellow. Conor Daly, the first to spin under this caution. Conor, what happened?
Man, I'm not entirely sure. Like, I had a good run, and we're still going slow. It's like my left front tire fell into a hole or something. So I'm just not really sure why that happened. That's never happened before. So yeah, just very strange. Hated, obviously. I thought I almost had it, and then obviously Oliver. I don't know what happened to him. But that was a shame to see for him too. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's a shame to U.S. Air Force. We had such a great presence here. Yeah, it looks like I just caught the curb, which is probably on me. So it's a shame. We're just looking forward to Gateway now. Super thankful to be here with the U.S. Air Force. They're the most incredible partner that I've had, and I hate it for them. It's probably my mistake. So it's a shame.
Thanks, Conor.
Good to see that he is okay out of the car, and a shame that he is out of this 104th running. Look how things are tight now. Scott Dixon, race leader in that PNC Bank Honda. He has got Takuma Sato all over him. Alexander Rossi, then Pato Award, the 21-year-old rookie. Let's go again.
Sato made a good restart there, but I don't think he's close enough to draft up. But now Rossi has the draft, the double draft here, might have an opportunity to go to the inside, which is his favorite spot, Townsend.
Got it done. Alexander Rossi through on the inside of Sato and sets out after Dixon.
Santino Ferrucci with a big run, goes for the short shoot move on Newgarden. That is bold and high risk, but Ferrucci pulls it off.
That Sealmaster Honda has been flying today, PT.
Ferrucci's got that little bit higher downforce setup. He's great on the restarts, but he needs to get it trimmed out if he's going to have a shot at running up front. But right now, the dogfight is going to be Dixon Rossi.
This is Ferrucci on Takuma Sato. Wow. That thing has been moving. That dust you see flying is the oil dry from the AMR safety team as they come on up. Newgarden has seen Marco Andretti go by. This is Ryan Hunter-Ray, Tony Kanaan, and Colton Herta through turn 1.
Colton Herta gets a little bit in the aero wash there. Tony Kanaan doing a great job moving his way forward up inside, just inside the top 10.
Take you back a moment ago, riding aboard the Napa Auto Parts Honda, Alexander Rossi. That's how you do it inside into turn 1.
These passes coming awfully late at the end of the long straightaway. Watch Ferrucci now. He checks up. Actually, he doesn't check up. He goes high, has a big run, and Newgarden checked up. Ferrucci goes to the inside in that short shoot. Now Rossi takes the lead.
Here's the fight that we're going to have. I believe this is going to be the fight for the win here.
I think Scott Dixon might have just given Rossi the lead Marty, do you think Dixon's trying to save fuel right now?
That's exactly right, Townsend. It's the game of who wants to lead right now. They told Alexander Rossi, all of these teams, by the way, are so close on making it on 2 stops. They told Alexander Rossi, we cannot make it on 2 stops. We need a little bit of help. And I asked Chris Simmons, one of the engineers for Scott Dixon a moment ago, I said, can you make it on 2 stops? He said, yes, but not leading. So Dixon gave up the lead intentionally to save some fuel here. Rossi knows he can't make it on 2 stops, but it's so tempting to get the lead for the Indy 500.
Look who is in 3rd place. It's the rookie Pato O'Ward in the Arrow McLaren SP Chevrolet. This kid was quickest on Carb Day on Friday. He was denied his first career win at Road America earlier this year. He is driven by passion. He wants to be an IndyCar race winner, and he told me last night, I can win this Indy 500.
So close to winning his first race, Road America, and he's right up front here. His team principal, Zach Brown, flew over from England. He's got the whole support, and we've got his teammate now out of the hospital unit, Oliver Askew.
And Paul, he was super fast as well. First of all, Oliver, we're so happy to see you walk over to us. You got out very gingerly. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay now. I was a little shaken up after that hit. I think I got the wind knocked out of me and banged up my knee a little bit. But I do want to say thank you to Dallara and IndyCar for making these cars so safe, and the AMR safety crew as well. So yeah, a little shaken up by that, but yeah, big sorry to the team. We were having a good run there, being very aggressive on strategy, and the car felt really good. So yeah, in the accident there, I saw a bunch of smoke in front of me, and I think I tried to avoid Elio and just lost the car, trying to avoid the accident. So yeah, it's a shame.
One thing, we all knew Oliver Askew was here today. He led laps and ran up front much of the time.
Speaking of running up front, Kevin, Scott Dixon now gets back into the lead. Now, is it a game of kind of chess here?
Yeah.
Is Rossi letting him get that lead back? We'll see.
It'll be a bit of a chess match, Townsend, but I think that Dixon saw Pato closing up and said, okay, I'm just going to jump back to the front here, and maybe they can break away from this little group right
Paul,
here.
Last lap for Rossi, 2:11. Nobody wants to lead right now. This is all about the cat and mouse of fuel mileage.
It's going to be an absolute chess match, Paul. And they told a moment ago, they said, hey, I'm going to let you drive. Rob Edwards told Alexander Rossi, who goes back to the lead, a little hopscotch going on here. He said, I'm going to let you drive it. You do what you want to do right now. Just know, if you're leading, we can't make it to the end on fuel. They told Scott Dixon the same thing. So sort of swapping the lead, playing nice between Honda corporate teammates here. We'll see what happens.
If they can play this correctly, Townsend, you know, if you fly in formation, you can just time everything right and protect the gap second to third.
Well, these two guys know that if they do the leapfrog, they will get better mileage.
I think we want to get the pack too tight. So if Rossi can work with us, let's try to string it out.
Exactly what I said. They don't want the pack too tight. They don't want Pato right there to be able to make a move to get by both of them. So they need to just time everything in formation and try to break away from the pack.
Andretti Autosport leads Chip Ganassi Racing, leads Arrow McLaren SP, leads Rahal Letterman Lanigan, leads Dale Coyne Racing with Vassar Sullivan. Here is that very distinctive Sealmaster Honda of Santino Ferrucci. Keep in mind the speeds that they're running now, just to play this very clever strategy. They're running 215, 216 mile-an-hour laps. Fastest lap of the race belongs to James Hinchcliffe at 223 miles an hour. So significantly off that high pace, just to make sure they can get those fuel numbers. Here's Dixon again.
3 vets up front, 2 rookies. So it's going to be a battle of Townsend of youth and experience. And the guys that are young are super aggressive.
Hey, Paul and Townsend, so how willing are you, if you're Scott Dixon or Alexander Rossi, to play this game? That's the guy you got to beat for the Indy 500. How willing are you to play this game, and for how long do you play it?
Perfectly willing to play the game as long as it gets us to the end of the race. We can sort it out on the last stint. Right now, it's about making the mileage, holding position, and we'll sort it out with 10 to go.
And it certainly gives you an opportunity to really examine where each guy's car is strong, not strong, because it always comes down to one car's better at one end of the track, the other one's better at the other end of the track, and you just start figuring it all out.
Let's take you back a few moments ago to the restart, and it's with the defending Indianapolis 500 race winner Simon Pagenaud, the Menards Chevy. That's Felix Rosenquist to the left.
3 wide down the front straightaway here. Big log jam in front of him.
Hinchcliffe and Piggott on the inside, and Pagenaud decides to tuck back in, but he can't because Rosenquist is there, and around goes Will Power, his teammate. Oh, boy.
Some bold moves. Paul, I was just thinking to myself that with Rossi and Dixon swapping lead here, it actually helps all those cars behind. Guys like Sato, Ferrucci, Ray Hall, and Marco Andretti, they're getting better mileage than the leaders.
Yeah,
so that could factor later on in the race.
Rob Edwards, Rossi's strategist, said on the radio, keep doing this. We need to build a gap on Pato. But Pato's hanging tough right there. The gap right now is really to Sato. So this, Pato just needs to sit here. He needs to sit here and just watch this and learn, because he might have an opportunity at the end of the race when these guys start to fight. He might be able to get both of them.
This is a young guy who won the Indy Lights Championship 2 years ago, stepped up to IndyCar last year, did the first 7 events of the season, and he got the eye. He caught the eye of Red Bull and Dr. Helmut Marko, who got whisked off to Europe. He did a couple of F2 races, then they sent him to Japan, and he did the remainder of the season there. Then he came back, so it was kind of a whirlwind last year. He tried to qualify for this race, had a huge crash, didn't make the field for Carlin Racing. But here he is, new team, full-time now in the NTT IndyCar Series with Arrow McLaren SP, and he is ready.
He's a rookie. Sit, watch, and learn these 2 guys that have won the Indy 500, and you have a shot at winning.
89 laps to go here at the Brickyard in the 104th running of the greatest spectacle in racing.
PNC Bank believes that if you can get a pair of goggles that helps you master your backhand, then you should be able to get a bank account that helps you master your budget. Virtual Wallet is so much more than a checking account. Clearly see the big picture of your finances and easily manage and grow your savings.
You see that?
Virtual Wallet for digital banking from PNC. It's time to get more from your bank.